You know, we all love a good story. Perhaps that's why movies are so popular in our society. Stories have a way of helping us rise up and feel emotion. It helps us remember things. And perhaps that's why stories have been used for generations and thousands of years. For example, oral histories were the name of the game before writing was available. And if you wanted to know your history and how things were, it was through stories, not through books. And so you would have a grandfather sitting down by the fire with a grandson and granddaughter, and he would tell them how fire came to be. He would tell them of the beginning of their peoples. And these stories were passed down for thousands of years. There are even religions whose holidays revolve around stories that have been passed on from generation to generation. And that's what makes those holidays so special. You know, in my own family, my mother was born of a German mother. And one of the things that was so interesting was to take a look when I was a little kid, actually not so little, a little bit bigger, and you'll understand why in a second, at the German stories that they taught kids. Now, you've probably heard of some, Hansel and Gretel, and you've heard of some others, but what you don't know is that the Germans really wanted to teach their kids to stay out of danger. That meant not going with strangers. And in Hansel and Gretel, in this German book that my mother showed me when I was a teenager, because she didn't want to scare the tar out of me, Hansel and Gretel actually get tossed into the oven and eaten by the witch. In another story that I saw in that book a little bit later, Hans decides to play with matches, even though his mother told him not to. And so we have this image of Hans. He pulls out the matches. Then in the next image, you have Hans lighting himself on fire accidentally. And in the next one, you have a pile of ashes. Okay, a little freaky, yes. Effective, absolutely. Now, what does this have to do with us and what we're doing right now? Well, when you're talking to somebody, if you really want to open up their heart, you're going to touch their emotions. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to tell them stories about your product or about your service that will touch their heart, that will help them see the value. But not just see the value, but really feel the value within their heart. Because once you gain their heart and their emotions, you will have their attention.